Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, July 15th of 2022, and we are here. We are at the hour of 10 o'clock, and we are ready to start our Jobs Committee meeting. Clerk, will you please do roll call?
Iqbal,
Present.
Kopi, Lewis, Molina,
Molina present.
Wallace, Ford,
Board present.
Davis.
Davis here.
All right,
You have quorum.
thank you. Now we ask for approval of our minutes from June 16th, 2022. Can I get a motion, a second?
Iqbal moves.
Molina seconds.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Wallace, Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford.
Ford, yes. Moving right along. Now we have our Workforce Development Division, our Office of Community Reinvestment. I can't see who may be on.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Ford. This is Scott
Ah.
Berger.
All right, good morning.
Good morning. My colleague Maria is with us this morning to walk you through our most recently completed financial records. Maria?
Thank you, Scott. Good morning, everyone. Within your packet, you will find the financial report. If you start on page 3 of your packet, you will see the WIOA 20 grant information. This grant concluded on June 30th. We did fully spend down all of the dollars that were awarded to us. If you look on the memo, I made note that there was still a little over $11,000 in OJTs that had not been paid out. Those were paid in June to finalize the last of the dollars that we had. Turning to page 4 of your packet is the WIOA 21 grant. With the June 30th date, we have to submit to the state that we are obligating, that we have accounted for 80% of the funds that were awarded to us, and also that 50% of our adult and dislocated worker funds are earmarked towards training. Both of those, I am pleased to say that we are going to attain both those benchmarks. When I submitted the reports for May, at the time we were still running low on the 50%, but we just recently discovered that there were some items that were not classified correctly. So I am in the process of reclassifying all of those expenses, and am confident that we will attain the 50%. Starting on page 5 is the trade grant report. As you will note, we have 64% of those funds left, and we have until September 30th to spend down those funds. The trade program is starting to slow down, so there is communication in terms of sending these reports to the program team so they are aware of where things are at with the funding. Are there any questions?
Do we have any questions? All right, seeing none, we thank you for the report. We're gonna move on to, I'm gonna save we're gonna save comments by co-chairs until after, towards the end. We're gonna move on to our Jobs Committee, our update for economic development.
Yeah, good morning, Mark Van Kerkhoff. I've got a couple updates for you this morning. One, Chris and I and other members of the team, Scott Berger's team, and members in our community are working on a workforce housing summit. You board members would have received a save the date. That's going to be held on August 23rd. It's going to start at 9 a.m. with some sessions on the need and the resources and opportunities with panels with community members, elected officials, developers, all participating. Concurrently with the morning session, Scott Berger and his team will be giving the regional administrator for HUD, Diane Shelley, a tour of the Larkin facility that was a successful project. And then she will be joining us at lunch and for the afternoon session. And then the day will end up at 3:30 at the committee of the whole meeting for the county board. And we intend to give a short recap of the day, as well as Regional Administrator Shelley will be making some remarks to the county board. So we're very excited about this. We're getting a lot of great input, learning a lot about what we didn't know was already happening in our community, and hope to share even more opportunities that exist, as well as resources. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to let Chris or I know, and we'd be happy to fill you in, as well as if you have any names of folks that should make sure we reach out to participate. The second update is back in May, we applied for one of the state of Illinois RISE planning grants for our doing a strategic economic development plan for Kane County. We're still waiting to hear. They expected to make award announcements sometime in July. So we're hoping to hear yet this month. We'll keep you posted on that. In other updates, just yesterday, I met with members of EY and our King County State's Attorney's Office on our department's ARPA departmental requests for use of ARPA funds. That was very helpful. I'm talking about the things that we had applied for and guidance on how they're would be categorizing those. So we'll keep you posted on that as that comes through as well. Probably the biggest update is on the regional Chicagoland economic development effort. Madam Chairman and I and Tom Rickert both attended a meeting convening held by the Brookings Institute and CMAP. The Brookings Institute has been working with entities in the region to help focus what we could do most effectively as a region, what's needed the most, what those costs might be, and how they would be actually, who they'd be done by. So they presented their recommendations. I think that almost all the county board chairs or chief executives were attending at the meeting, and including Madam Chairman and myself. They went through the areas of focusing on global marketing, reaching out to and working with foreign direct investment. A big piece of being research and looking regional wide, the different industry clusters, both in terms of what our strengths are and what ones are emerging that the region should be focusing on. Electric vehicle and associated industries being a good example of that. And then finally, with a recommendation that World Business Chicago would be the best organization to staff up to do more regional work. And what we're waiting to hear yet is exactly how much each of the counties in the city of Chicago need to put in to support the effort. So it looks like it is going to be done on a pro rata share by population. So we're waiting to hear, what that would be. They are talking about doing this as a 3-year pilot commitment to do that. We'll be looking to see if that's our contribution would be able to be paid for out of ARPA funds as well. One of the benefits to the county, the stage where we're in with looking to stand up our own economic development organization, is that those services that would be paid into or paid for through the regional effort Most other EDOs have a staff person or subscriptions or a big part of their budget to do those types of activities. So the regional collaboration will allow other EDOs to either reduce their budgets or apply those staff resources to business retention or other activities within the county. And for us, in terms of standing up an EDO, that organization wouldn't have to buy those subscriptions, research data subscriptions, and have staff people for those more global and RFI related activities. So we'll keep you posted on that as we hear back on a number. And then yesterday, Madam Chair hosted a meeting with ourselves and Jody Welnick, Mark Armstrong, with the Upper Illinois River Valley Development Authority, which is a mouthful, but it's a development authority with bonding and enterprise zone authority or abilities over a 9-county region, including Kane County. And we learned a lot more about some of their programs, including some new ones coming online, and how we can steer people who are interested in doing projects in Kane County to them as a resource for both of those. So that was very helpful. We hope to have them possibly at our September meeting and part of a September roundtable.
What's that authority called?
The Upper Illinois River Valley Development Authority.
That's a long name.
It's a long name.
The Long River. What
Yes, it's
river?
a
What
long
are they
river.
talking about? Fox
Um,
River? Are they talking?
Illinois River,
Oh, the
Upper
River.
Illinois River
Oh, I
Valley.
get it. Sorry. So thank you.
So, and then finally, just, an anecdotal good news. I can't name the company or the community, but we continue to get reached out to by local manufacturers or companies who are working for them as a client. One in particular who wants to expand their facility to introduce a new product line, reached out for resources. So we were able to get them connected with our Keep CPACE program as a resource, IERVDA that I just mentioned as a resource with their bonding and enterprise zone ability, as well as it's great to be able to point them to our workforce development division. You just heard the reports on all the things they're doing with WIOA funds, but also their incumbent worker and other programs that they have are a great resource and very of great interest to manufacturers and companies when they're asking about workforce. So a big thanks to Scott and his team for all they do. And then lastly, working to capitalize on our fiber network as another resource along our county highways. So that's what I have. There's a lot of good things going on despite some of the bad news on the economy in the newspaper. So we're encouraged by that. So happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, Chris has a few additional updates.
Before we move on to Chris, any questions of Mark? All right. Just one, not question, but statement. It'll be nice to see how our fiber can be used to actually get, I think mostly of industrial, but I'm pretty sure there's other technology companies or businesses may be able to attract to Illinois, our Kane County, just because of our fiber. It'd be interesting to see how that works out. Nothing else? Chris, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Just a couple quick things. First thing I wanted to bounce off what Mark said. I have been contacted by multiple different commercial real estate groups and chambers of commerce to kind of talk to them about what's going on with the county. I think as we see the economy going in a more negative direction, we're finding new friends and partners to work with. And one of the things I've been really working to promote more is our Kane Energy Efficiency Program. Even though the interest rates are going up, it's a great program to still continue to highlight. Not only does it add value to existing buildings, but for those who are still trying to build new buildings in the county, it's a great program to get some upfront financing for their green infrastructure improvements. So we'll be sharing some more information. We have some updated materials we're going to be putting in Kane County Connects, the revamped version. Next thing we'll talk about is back in March of 2020, myself and a lot of other organizations were big in promoting the Paycheck Protection Program as part of the stimulus in fighting the pandemic. It was an $800 billion program that was utilized to help businesses retain workers through the lockdowns and through the crunch that we were feeling during the COVID pandemic. And they just released the first study of the outcomes of that specific program. So I just wanted to give a quick highlights. And I will be sending this article to all board members after the meeting, as well as we will be sharing some of this information as Kane County Connects. So it was an $800 billion program that was launched in March of 2020. And as of June of this year, almost 90% of the $800 billion has already been forgiven. It was designed for businesses with 500 or less employees, including nonprofits, veteran organizations, and travel businesses. It also included sole proprietors, independent contractors, and self-employed individuals. The goal of the loans was to be used for payroll costs, costs related to the continuation of group healthcare, insurance premiums, employee salaries, commissions, mortgage payments, rents, utilities, and interest on debt obligations. So the good news is it saved about 3 million jobs. I want to say that's, if we look at outcomes, 3 million people were kept in work by this program, so that should be recognized. Unfortunately, the cost per savings per job was around 169,000 to 250,000 per job, when the average amount of the workers at those jobs was about 58,000. So it was about a 3 to 4 to 1 ratio of effectiveness. They call it the leakage, or the other 75% went to small business owners that usually spent that money on suppliers, loan recipients, and bank and lenders. The big kicker that I found interesting of the study is that 72% of the Paycheck Protection Funds were captured by households with incomes in the top 20% of national distribution.
What percent was that?
72%. So about almost 3/4 of it went to top 20% of households. So, I don't want to knock the program because it did save jobs, but it ended up making a lot of wealthy people a little bit more wealthy. So it's just something that we can look back on now and analyze, but it's just something as we think of programs and reactions in the future is how can we make sure that we get the money that is needed to the people who need it the most, and we can react appropriately.
This was the PPP.
Yeah, the Paycheck Protection. It's part of the CARES Act, but it's a separate program, and maybe I'll make sure to include you on my email. But I just wanted to share those highlights. It's more and more information. We promoted this program. I'll continue to promote federal programs that support local businesses, because anything we can do to help Kane County businesses, we should do and will do. But again, it's just interesting to see the outcomes of that. And then I just wanted to share some really good news. I had something come my way from our team member, and it's a cottage food training course. And the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, Illinois Extension is going to be offering a $25 online courses for cottage home food-based businesses. And it's something for online. It's going to have cottage food legislation, food safety training, refrigerated and frozen food training, food preservation training, packaging and labeling, and then some additional business side FAQs and answering questions for local businesses or people who want to do their own home food businesses. Again, this is something we'll be sharing on Kane County Connects. I just received it, but I also want to make sure I shout out to the new Kane County Connects team. They have been absolutely wonderful to work with. We've been having some great feedback. Our Why Kane page on LinkedIn is growing with viewers, and we're getting a lot of feedback. The most popular article I've shared in the last month was the EMAX Theater in Batavia, where they're putting in the 96-foot the biggest screen in the state of Illinois. And I just want to continue to share, if anyone ever hears about a great story like that going on locally, please share it with me or with the Kane County Connects team. We love highlighting the great things going on. I had like a 1 in 8 subscriber comment rate on that article. So it's just great to see people really looking for the good news of what's going on around them. And again, I just love to share it with everybody. So with that, I'll step back and answer any questions.
All right. Any questions for Chris? Go ahead.
Do you have any comments on the latest inflation rates, how that's going to affect the county, or at this time.
I mean, it was 9.1, which was about 0.3% higher than predicted. I did state last month that I was expecting to see a rise in the rate of increase of inflation. Prior to this month, I'm sorry, my pee. Prior to this month, we were thinking that it was going to be a 0.75% interest rate at the next interest rate hike, but there's a very strong possibility that it could move up to a solid another 1% increase, which we're moving more and more towards the stagflation of the late 70s, early 80s. So I don't see any economic data that shows any slowing down of the rate of increase for interest rates right now. So my guess for next month is it'll probably be somewhere in the high 8s to low 9s again, just because we're not reacting. The reaction from the Federal Reserve is not compounding quick enough to attack the lots of changes that are occurring the interest rate. And yeah, and especially as we come up on growth season and manufacturing season later in the year and end of the year. And next month, I'll be presenting the GDP numbers for the second quarter because those will be out at the end of July. And then we'll have a really good picture of what to expect probably for the rest of the year.
So I think that would help tell the full story.
Yes.
At the end of the quarter report, the second quarter. The thing about it is, the fourth quarter because of Christmas and people working during that period of time, that's the big number then, right?
Yes, and I presented this last month. It's on the slides because if you look at quarter 3 of 2021, quarter 3 was, I think it was maybe 1% growth. It was a very big warning sign. And then, yeah, quarter 4, we had a bounce back due to the holidays. People were tightening their belts. In some senses, people were also making some bigger purchases. And the thought was, as people saw the inflation starting to come and prices were starting to go up, so it was a good time to buy. And so yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. And next month, I definitely will give some thoughts about the GDP and the recession. But as of last week, the Federal Reserve said we are at an 80% likelihood of a recession or an actual declared recession. I currently believe that we are already sitting in one right now.
But jobs are still holding.
Yeah. So at some point, being said that about the 80%, are we in one now? What part of the recession are we in? Is this just the beginning? Are we in the middle of it, or?
I would say we are probably at the beginning of it.
Okay.
It's looking similar to 2008, but it's, with these kind of things, dominoes. I've been seeing a lot of layoffs in the car sector, in technology. And one of the things that data is starting to come out with right now that is a really key indicator is auto repossessions. Typically, most people hold about the amount they owe on a car is about 80% of the car's value because cars are a depreciating asset.
Yes.
But I've read anywhere from a lot of people now on average owe 130 to 140% of their debt on the value of the car. So they owe more debt on the value of the car.
Wow.
Yeah, and typically the summer is not repossession season, so there's been a lot of uptick in repossessions just around the country. The thought being that people use their stimulus money to purchase automobiles, and once the stimulus money dried up and the inflation and interest rates went up, that's so. Yeah, I want to find more data on that because I've long stood on when the Federal Reserve talks about the health of the economy. Car buying, all types of car buying is a lead indicator. What types of cars, how many cars, where the cars are being bought is a very, very strong indicator of the health of the economy. So that's something I'd like to share as well.
Any other questions? All right. Any new business? We're gonna miss news business and co-chair comments together. Mark, you got anything?
It rendered a little speechless after the dismal news that we're going through. And unfortunately, I agree that we're near the beginning of a recessionary period, not, in the heart of it or, near the end. But, Fred, I don't have anything cheery to add right now, no.
All right. One thing that we wanted to discuss today is to talk about the rest of the year as far as what we want to see as a committee on the agenda. The one thing that I wanted to bring up, and we've talked about it, is doing a second roundtable discussion on a topic of IT. And we're looking to do that in our September meeting, which, what would be the date, do you think? The
September 16th.
16th. So any questions or thoughts about that? And we're looking to find different businesses or even some of the cities who have and villages who are interested in this venture to bring to the table. So I think we would have some of the same economic development people there and things like that.
Yep.
And what is it, Aurora Unlight, yeah, will probably be good to bring in. We gotta tie down Roger. And I don't know what's happening in other parts of the county. I really would like to get some activity from people in Elgin and out west because I know we talk about the broadband and the use of broadband where we can use that at. Any other thoughts?
But your thought about making sure we include Roger, absolutely support. He's always a wealth of information for us, and welcome in our effort anytime.
And it looks like August, when we get this second quarter report, it sounds like that's going to be a big discussion to find out exactly where we're at and which direction we're going. Anything else?
It'll be interesting to see how it, it's not a presidential election year, but it is an election year, which frequently has influence on markets. So something else to keep an eye on later in the year, obviously.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting to see also, I don't know how much information we can get knowing that we're heading this direction, is what is the state of Illinois thinking about everything that's going on. It'd be good to have someone at some point from the state come out and go ahead.
Thank you. Actually, yes. When we had our last roundtable, Joe McCune from DCO, who is our regional rep, has offered to come back to Jobs Committee, not just for a roundtable, but maybe we would like to host him as the premier guest for a meeting to kind of, and I don't know if this would be good for the same day as the roundtable, but have him come back to speak to the committee and make him our primary guest to just talk about the litany of programs that are going on right now from DCO and the state in terms of economic development, because we'd love to have him back and he could fill up an entire meeting if we'd like.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really good idea. I don't know if he'd be good for September or not, but definitely he needs his, after last time I talked to him after the meeting, he needs his own time. So either
Yeah.
October or November would be good for that.
Definitely separate from the roundtable effort. I think, like you said, he can fill quite a bit of time. So find a lighter agenda and let him turn him loose.
Yes. When is when is manufacturing month?
That is October.
October,
October.
okay. After having an opportunity of visiting some of our manufacturers, it is really interesting the change from, well, I'm just going to tell my 70s and 80s, the technology, the cleanness, the being more precise about your job and having specialties that relates to that, just that one part, and what they have to go through to learn that, and running these big machines and understand the process is really been opening my mind. So I like to do some more. I guess it'd be nice to do it in October on educating people on what manufacturing is today.
Besides being the backbone of America, of course.
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with that.
I might be a little biased being a manufacturer and all, but it fits in nicely with, our more focused attention to, IT and how that brings more automation to many manufacturing efforts, even classic ones that we think of as being more of the labor intensive, dirt under the fingernails kind of thing. Automation and IT are everywhere and creeping into almost everything we do. So it all kind of segues nicely.
It does. And Mavis just made a statement about, what did you say about solar? Yeah. So solar technology, you need workers in solar technology. You need people who build the panels, install the panels. That's
The dirt.
okay. Well, but just the technology part of it, just a part where, or just can't anybody. I just a few months ago received the solar panels on my house, and the one part of it that I learned about is the change in the installation electrical wise and how that works. I probably was a little bit of a pain with the installer because of all the questions I ask and understanding electricity myself and how it works and how to, I'll go inside the panel and go from there, but I do not put a panel in. So, but it was nice to see how everything comes together and was able to work off of what's already existing and the technology that how it has changed over the years from having a dozen batteries who had to go down to your basement somewhere to this nice little box that just fits on the back of your house somewhere. So I think the whole part of solar, and I don't know what we have in the Kane County area of people who may be installers or suppliers or anything like that. That would be nice to focus on and work that with her committee to start seeing how we can try to keep up with or get caught up with or close to what brings new jobs to Kane County.
Lots of training opportunities.
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Some of the junior colleges in Illinois have started these 6-month training programs. I learned that from my solar installer. He said I went to, I think he said Kishwaukee for 6 months to get his certification. And that's part of the CEJA program too. So I'd like to see Wabansie or Elgin Community College taking on that.
And that's my point. We need to get it in Kane County. I've
Yeah.
heard about it, Kishwaukee.
Heck,
That's not
yes,
Kane
we love
County.
Kishwaukee,
Yeah.
but let's get it at Wabansie.
And through workforce development, we work a lot with Kishwaukee. I never heard of Kishwaukee, till a few years ago. I started being on Workforce Development Board, but I am impressed with all that has happened out there.
Let's get Wabansie doing it, or Elgin.
In both, yeah, Wabansie and
Both,
ECC, both, yeah.
Yeah.
We got
They might
over-
surprise us. I think Wabansie, I could be wrong, but I think I saw something in a newsletter from Dean Sobek about a program like that, but maybe Mark and Crystal can find out for us. Talk to him.
She is President Sobek.
Sorry, President.
the way.
But I said Dean. Yep, sorry.
No demotions.
So
Yeah, sorry.
my understanding is that a lot of the junior colleges, our colleges period, are having a hard time with this part of education because they're not a 2-year process. They're not a long term. It's a very short term process to get these certificates, and it's not long. So they're having a hard time open up those doors and setting that up. But if my thing is, if the colleges can't do it, I get it. They got a right to do whatever they got to do to survive. How many non-for-profits or private entities are out there that's looking at doing this educational part?
Wide County Urban League could be helping with this.
Right. There's probably more out there than we even know about. That people are doing STEM programs and things like that.
I think the colleges would like to do this with a little encouragement, a little more guidance from
And
us.
I think they would like to. It'd be nice to find out what are their stumbling blocks more in detail about what's holding them up right now. Because we know Elgin Community College is a great school. We know Wabansie is great. There's a lot of people doing well after going through Wabansie. So it just a matter of trying to see what they need in order to make this work.
When I was teaching sustainability at Wabansie, I was encouraging them to do this. And the stumbling block was, in the past, they had programs like this and the graduates did not get jobs. But that was 10 years ago, maybe longer. Now times have changed. CEJ is still a $9.5 billion asset to this community and to the state of Illinois. So I think with some more encouragement and some more consulting, maybe from us to them, we could get somewhere with this.
Right. Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Because there will be jobs.
Right. There's one more part to that when it comes to solar energy, and that is there's some areas, even in Kane County, which that's what we want to focus on, where there are installers who at this point doesn't find it comfortable to work in those cities or villages because of, how do I want to say this? Because of the process they may or may not be able to go through to have the panels accepted. So to open up that door to that, it'd be nice to hear those issues.
That's a big issue. We do have the Soul Smart program, which helps communities like Aurora to streamline their processes for inspections and approvals of solar projects.
Right.
That's still taking a long time for some of the installers. Is that what you're talking about? The
Actually,
permits and things like
yes,
that?
yes. But my understanding is there are some towns or villages that the installers are the solar providers will not even try to work in because of they're not ready for this process yet.
Okay, let's talk about
Yeah,
that. E&E
that's-
can help with that.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
yeah, this is Maui Paul. Yeah, I have something to add to the discussion. Actually, I have some experience in this solar panel. In Elgin, I have a house and a very big yard. and I designed my own solar panel.
Okay.
That's when, City of Elgin passed an ordinance. And I found a few things, based on my own design. The cost is really 1/3 of what people will charge you. But the city had such a requirement that I did not like going through the city. They approved my plan. They said this is fine, but they wanted to have additional fencing around it, and some. So I didn't want to put my fence around this solar panel in my yard. And I had some trees, and I went to cut some trees, and I said, no, I don't want to cut those trees. The price, yardstick is such that it does not work. It does not give you rate of return that a homeowner can accept. Even if you kick in the credit. At one time, there was a state credit and a federal credit. Probably right now, there's only one left. So that is discouraging for people. There's a big markup. There's to get it installed and make it financially workable or feasible. So therefore, it would not go very much in this area, at least. Otherwise, it's a very simple thing to design. It's a good thing, but if you live in the city, probably it will be very hard because I didn't want to put it on the roof. I thought roof should be separate. I don't want to put any holes in it. So yeah, those are my experiences. There is a factory in Rockford. It's a Chinese factory, and they manufacture or assemble or do something. So you can get it right here. And this Chinese company is a huge company, and they have an office right here on I-90 by Elgin. So if somebody wants to open a distributorship or something, the opportunities are here.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Iqbal. I don't think most of us will be trying to design our own solar panels. But I'm impressed that you did. But solar is going to take off in Illinois like a rocket any day now, and it already is. And you're going to see solar panels on so many houses. And I always say my goal is to have solar panels on every doghouse in every house, every doghouse, because there are many different ways to get solar. You can pay for it yourself. And with my solar panels, I paid, I'll give you some numbers if you don't mind.
Go ahead,
if we've
go
got the time. I paid $17,500 up front, which was a lot of money. Most people don't have that, but I did. I paid $17,500. My Illinois state incentives rebate was $6,500. So now we're down to $11,000. My tax credit on my federal taxes was $4,500. So now we're down to about $7,000. Am I doing my math right? Am I down to $6,000? Then for being in the MREA group buy, which we are promoting right this minute, and on August 9th, there's going to be another meeting. At the end of that group buy, I got a check for $1,200, leaving me out of pocket about $5,000, which I am expected, my return on investment will be about $1,000 a year. So in 5 years, I will have recouped, and everything after that is free. But I was fortunate I had the money to invest. But there are free programs. There's the Illinois Solar for All program. It's for low income. There are power purchase agreements where you lease your house, you lease your roof, and you get a discount on your electricity. Solar is here to stay, and it's going to take off.
Yeah. And I definitely believe that that's the reason why I want to see that we push for the opportunity for solar businesses to be developed in
Absolutely.
King County.
Great.
Anything else? All right, we thank you. If you guys think anything else, I'll reach out to the ones that weren't able to be on today and make sure they have a chance to have input put in. So moving on, we don't have any public comments. Can I get a motion a second to put reports on file?
Davis
Unanimous?
moves.
Okay. Is there a second?
Molina seconds.
In a seconds. Do we have to do a vote on that? Do we have to do a roll call? Okay.
Yeah.
Roll call
Iqbal?
vote.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Wallace,
Wallace, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford.
Ford, yes. We have no need for, do we have need for executive session? We do? I thought you just liked us. All right, so need a motion and a second to go into executive session for the reason of,
Reviewing closed session minutes? So moved.
yes, all right. Do a second?
Molina seconds.
Roll call.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford.
Ford, yes.
Okay, everybody online, please watch for your invite to go into the closed session. Please accept that, and we won't be able to begin until everybody is here. Be aware we are live streaming, so until I give you the word that we are in closed session, please be aware of that. We are waiting for a couple of people to accept their invites.
I know that whenever I like have to take stairs or something, I'm like, oh, well, it's good. It's like my exercise for today, you know?
Okay, you are back in the public meeting.
Roll call for, roll call, attendance.
Iqbal, Kopi, Lewis, Molina,
Molina present.
Wallace,
Here.
Davis,
Davis here.
Ford.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Davis moves, we accept the recommendation of the state's attorney's office as represented in Exhibit A.
Molina will second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Davis.
Davis, yes.
All right. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn into our next meeting in August?
Davis moves.
Molina will second.
All in favor by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign. Thank you. Have a
One
good
last
weekend.
co-chair comment, which is you're doing a great job, Ron. Keep it